Here we see an organizational chart. In other words, there is a system which has been established, an organization which has been formed. Look, there are air forces, land forces, naval forces, coast guard, gendarmerie, distributed into sections like this. There are moreover the special forces, blue berets, commandos, underwater offense military, underwater defense military, and so on. What do we see here? There is a division of labor, a distribution of duties, and a system in place. Their numbers and distributions are determined. Like this group will stay here for this amount of time. This unit will be stationed here, that unit will be stationed there, this brigade will remain here, and so on. Now, when we mention the armies within our bodies, we mean the immune system. Let's contemplate it. Does the immune system have a purpose? Does it have a function? Yes, our immune system, which is just like the army, the military, destroys harmful molecules and cells that are harmful for the organism, such as harmful cells, harmful molecules, and waste particles. And after the damage is controlled, they accelerate tissue repair. See how important duties they have. So, our immune system has some basic organs. We can call them basic centers or headquarters, barracks. For example, the bone marrow can be considered a barrack, and the spleen can be thought of as a headquarters. And the thymus, lymph nodes, and similar structures are like fortified outposts. Look, we can even see the appendix here in this image. These we see are all the headquarters, barracks, and fortified outposts within our bodies. The appendix too is like that. So what does this mean? This means that it is not a vestigial organ. Unfortunately, there are people attempting to impose the idea that such an organ that is the like of a headquarters is a vestigial organ. Right now, we are seeing the diversity of soldiers within the armies in our bodies. You may have heard about the hematopoietic stem cell. This stem cell, this single cell, first splits into two, lymphoid and myeloid. Then both of these are each split into three, creating task divisions and further divisions into different functions. It's as if soldiers emerging. There is a very important statement that proves the oneness of Allah. The ability to create everything from one thing and one thing from everything can only belong to Allah, the creator of all things. For example, I eat everything, but I turn them into myself. Everything is made into one thing. And then there is the creation of everything from one thing. This is the same thing as the entire universe being created from a single atom after the Big Bang. We see the same thing here. In these barracks, in the bone marrow, there is this basic stem cell. Look, it is only a single structure. Then by Allah's power, permission, mercy and knowledge, it splits into very organized, well-equipped and diverse soldiers that protect us in various ways. Everything is made from one thing. For instance, dendritic cells, macrophages, mast cells, basophils, eosinophils, monocytes, neutrophils, T lymphocytes, natural killer cells, and B lymphocytes. Look, all of these are created from just a single cell. Yes, again, we see on screen the creation of various cells from a single cell. One of these cells, as you can see, is the erythrocyte, which carries nutrients and oxygen to our body. The thrombocyte is the cell that clots our blood. All the rest are our soldier cells. Now, we rewind the film, the same cell, just one cell. Yes, we must truly contemplate this and see the manifestation of the oneness of Allah here. The creation of everything from one thing is evidence for the existence and oneness of Allah. Why is it evidence for the oneness of Allah? It is because it proves that the one who rules over the neutrophil is the same as the one who rules over the erythrocyte, the one who creates and assigns duties to all of these cells. Because how could a being rule over the neutrophil but not the lymphocyte? How could his power be sufficient for the erythrocyte but not for the thrombocyte? That is not possible, and we don't see such a situation in the universe either. What does the universe teach us? Everything comes from one source. Don't they show the same signature? The same signature is everywhere. The signature of the oneness of Allah. It is seen in everything. Everything emerges from one thing, and the ability to create everything from one thing belongs only to the one Allah. This we see right here is our intelligence expert. A very original cell, the dendritic cell. It too has arms like a macrophage or like an octopus. With these arms, it collects fragments and remnants of microbes that have somehow breached the defense system and spread throughout the body. We call those fragments antigens. It collects those antigen fragments like a detective. Imagine a crime scene, for example. They find a hair and do its DNA analysis. This dendritic cell serves a similar function, collecting those fragments we mentioned. Just think about how much knowledge and intelligence this requires. This cell has such a numinous duty. What does it do with those fragments after collecting them? This intelligence expert of ours goes and presents these antigens to the T lymphocytes. So, like, what do intelligence agencies do? Intelligence officers, experts gather information and present that information to soldiers or commanders. Imagine a crime plot. If it's a domestic crime, the intelligence officers go to the police force or the Ministry of Internal Affairs saying, "We've gathered intelligence about a domestic crime plot," or "There's a plan for an external attack." They inform the soldiers, the police, etc. What can we call a cell that performs such a function? Only a perfect intelligence expert. This technology created by Allah, that dendritic cell, accomplishes such complex and important tasks as those intelligence officers. Thinking about all of this, about the fact that all of these cells are soldiers in the hands of our infinitely merciful Lord, acting by His power, brings us great comfort. Some of them are given blue berets, some maroon berets, some land forces uniforms, some air forces uniforms, naval forces uniforms, and so on. All of them have each been given their own uniforms and assigned and dispatched to their own duties. To Allah alone belong the armies of the heavens and the earth, and Allah is Almighty, All-Wise.